Hi everyone, welcome to the second Kingswood Jobs Cast, looking jobs in focus, opportunities that are available for those looking for work. Last week we had a fantastic session with both Tesco and Asda locally, looking at what opportunities there are in the retail sector. And today I thought we'd do a specific jobs cast focusing on the government's Kickstart scheme that was launched on the 2nd of September by the Chancellor Rishi Sunak and the Work and Pensions Secretary Therese Coffey. Now I know the scheme's yet to go fully live, but I thought it'd be a fantastic opportunity for those who are interested in the scheme, employers who are interested in getting involved, to have the opportunity to understand what this Kickstart scheme will involve. And today I'm joined by Lesley Gavin, who is the Partnership Manager for the Avon, Somerset and Gloucestershire District for the Department of Work and Pensions, to have a chat about Kickstart, what's going to be involved with the scheme, how it will operate, what you can do if you're an employer, and what you can do if you're interested in joining the scheme. So Lesley, thank you so much for coming along today. If I can hand over to you to give an update about the Kickstart scheme.
Thank you, Chris. So the pandemic has been a really tough time for many of us across our communities, and we want to put young people at the heart of our recovery. So Kickstart gives young people the opportunity they need to get their foot on the ladder and a foothold in the world of work. So to make this happen, we want employers from all sectors and industries to sign up to Kickstart and take advantage of the government's backing and help this national effort. So Kickstart is a new £2 billion scheme, as you said, is part of the Chancellor Rishi Sunak's plan for jobs, focusing on young people who are 16 to 24-year-olds. The scheme will create hundreds of thousands of new, fully subsidised jobs for young people across the country. Its intention is to improve the employability of young people who we know have limited work experience. Our young people are usually amongst the worst hit by the financial crisis, and unemployment can have long-standing implications for their future jobs. We already know there will be around 700,000 young people set to leave education this year, with roughly 1.6 million young people currently furloughed and 250,000 under 25s claiming unemployment benefits since March. 3.6 million young people are potentially eligible for this programme. So from the 2nd of September, businesses have been able to apply for funding as we launch the Kickstart scheme, with guidance as to how you can get involved provided on gov.uk. Employers can use the Kickstart scheme to create new 6-month job placements for young people 16 to 24-year-olds who are currently on universal credit or job seekers allowance and at risk of long-term unemployment. The job placement should support the participants to gain the experience they need to find work after completing the scheme. And funding is available for 100% of the relevant national minimum wage for 25 hours a week, plus associated employer national insurance contributions and employer minimum automatic enrolment contributions. We are committed to levelling up opportunities across the country, which is why we want to encourage businesses from England, Wales and Scotland to bid for funding. We feel this is an opportunity to kickstart the careers of thousands of young people and will hopefully open the door for a brighter future for a generation. It's envisaged that the first young people will start to take up work placements in November. So, with regards to businesses that have an interest in this scheme, any business, regardless of size, can bid for funding. The job placements created will kickstart funding, but must be new jobs. They must not replace existing or planned vacancies. The roles must be a minimum of 25 hours a week for 6 months and paid at least the national minimum wage for their age group. The scheme will remain open for new employment starts until December 2021. So for employers, if you go on to gov.uk and input Kickstart, and it will bring up information for you about the scheme in more detail. You can make an inquiry. So if you have a work opportunity, that you don't have more than 30 work placements available, you can group together with other employers. And you would need to make inquiries about how to do that through gov.uk, or if you have 30 or more placements, you can actually put in an application. So if you have 30 or more vacancies, once your bid is placed and successful, the details of the placements are passed to local job centre work coaches who signpost potential participants to an opportunity. But remember, this scheme is primarily focused on supporting 16 to 24-year-olds that are claiming universal credit. Potential candidates will then make contact, possibly with the help of their work coach, before undergoing an employer selection process. And work coaches can assist individuals to overcome any barriers with regards to an employer selection process. Successful participants will need to enter into the PAYE payroll, and HMRC would be notified. Okay, if a business is looking to recruit fewer than 30 people, they can still apply for funding, but you must partner up with other employers or organisations in order to create a minimum of 30 jobs before an application is made. This can include similar employers, local authorities, trade bodies, Chamber of Commerce or charities. So bids are reviewed to make sure that they meet the requirements of the Kickstart scheme that I've just mentioned. It's not a competitive process, but the Kickstart will only provide funding when the jobs meet the criteria set out in online guidance that you can find on gov.uk. And businesses can make contact. There is an inquiry link for you to ask more questions through gov.uk. So just as a reminder, companies that are successful in the bidding process will secure funding to get 100% of the relevant national minimum wage for 25 hours a week, plus associated national insurance contributions and the employer minimum automatic enrolment contributions. In addition, you will receive £1,500 per person to cover any additional costs that you may incur. If you group together and there is an intermediary that provides support for the bid, then that intermediary will secure an additional £300 for the placement. There is no limit on the number of employers that can secure funding, but they have to ensure that roles offered through the scheme do meet the eligibility criteria. We encourage all employers, regardless of your size, to bid for funding, but just remember there needs to be a minimum of 30 job placements. So if you're unable to offer that number, then you just need to partner up with other organisations, and DWP will be providing information about intermediaries that you can link in with. The Chancellor has been clear there is no cap on the number of Kickstart places available, so no one will miss out. If the bids meet the requirements of the scheme as set out in guidance, businesses will get a grant agreement, and the agreement will outline what the company has agreed to provide and how much funding they will receive from the Kickstart scheme. So this is about targeted support aimed at young people who are at greatest risk of unemployment. The scheme wouldn't be right for all young people, which is why we've also invested in other schemes like traineeships and apprenticeships that may be a better fit for others. So it's making sure that when we let young people know about the opportunities that employers have available, we signpost appropriately or direct them to other schemes that are available. We want to ensure that young people enter into high quality roles that offer on-the-job training and progression so they can develop the right skills to thrive in work. Okay, any questions?
Well, thank you so much, Lesley, for that sort of comprehensive overview of the scheme. I guess just a couple of questions if I'm sort of thinking through those who are applying, say the 16 to 24-year-olds who are on universal credit. Will their existing contact with their local job centre and with the Department of Work and Pensions, which you've mentioned other opportunities as well, but will they be told of potential placements, or will they be told of the scheme I'm just interested to know how will employers sort of advertise their Kickstart placements at the job centres? Will there be that sort of opportunity if they successfully are awarded a contract?
Sure.
Will they get the opportunity to advertise their placements at the job centre?
That's a really good question, and actually I've been taking part in the calls being completed by our department with local employers to understand the types of questions they have. And they have raised that they may have individuals in mind for opportunities that they can offer. So what I just want to confirm really is all the opportunities will be provided through work coaches. So they will not be externally advertised. It is directly for individuals on universal credit or job seekers allowance, and therefore individuals will be signposted specifically by their work coaches who will look at appropriate opportunities that become available. So what I would say to local employers are, if you are aware of a young person who you know is unemployed and can benefit from the opportunity that you have available, if they are not in receipt of universal credit, then they could benefit from claiming universal credit for financial support and all the associated support that can be provided through job centres and our work coaches. And the opportunity would have to be through signposting through work coaches. It cannot be offered directly through employers. Okay, however, an important point to make is it will be down to the employer to select an appropriate individual for that opportunity. So they will still have the decision to make about individuals that make contact who are interested in the placements they have available, and employers will decide who are successful in securing those placements.
I see. And in terms of young people who are either unemployed, aren't claiming universal credit but may be eligible to do so, and maybe young people who find themselves unemployed in the course of the next year, you don't need to be on universal credit just right now. You could go on to universal credit in a couple of months' time, or up until the December 21 deadline, and still then find that you might have the opportunity to join the scheme.
We will continue to promote the scheme and obtain new opportunities from employers right through currently until, yes, December 2021. So there's an opportunity for young people during that time period, if they need to claim universal credit, they are at risk of being long-term unemployed, to have a discussion with their work coach and, you know, to identify themselves as being interested in taking up a work placement opportunity.
And in terms of the employers and trying to create a sort of consortium or a group of employers that would make up the 30 placements, you mentioned sort of intermediaries, and I think there's potentially money available for some intermediaries to help with this sort of organisation of placements. Is that correct?
That is correct. So currently we are trying to establish the level of interest in the number of companies that are willing to act as an intermediary. And essentially the role that they will fulfill is a HR payroll. They will receive the grant funding on behalf of the cohort of companies, and they will pass on the £1,500 and the wages. Okay.
And if there is an organisation that is interested in the scheme, is not quite sure about what to do, and there's never really sort of been involved in sort of an operation like this, what's their first port of call? Is it the government website? Is there a telephone number they can ring locally, or how would they think about checking whether they're eligible to see whether they can be part of a wider group if they're a small company, or if they're a larger company able to offer over 30 placements? What should they do now?
So I encourage all employers to go to the gov.uk website, because we are constantly updating the information with regards to the scheme. So that is www.gov.uk/government/ .gov.uk/collections/Kickstart-scheme. But if you go to gov.uk and you put in Kickstart, and it will take you to the relevant place to get all the information that you need. So there are several options on the gov.uk website. If you want to find out more information, then you can make an inquiry and you will receive a prompt response, and we can pass on information to you about the intermediaries as companies register their interest to take up that role. Or you can click on the link and make an application directly from the gov.uk website.
Okay. Well, I think in terms of what's been released so far, this sounds like a tremendously exciting scheme, and hopefully it's just one of many opportunities that are available. I know at Job Centre Pluses and working with work coaches who do a fantastic job in signposting young people who are in need of employment opportunities. And so really do appreciate, Lesley, your time today in setting out sort of how this scheme is going to operate. You mentioned sort of November, maybe the first time when eventually placements are released and companies then seek to take people on as Kickstarters, I guess they're now called. So there's a small wait still to come, is that right, before the scheme properly sort of lands?
Yes, so with regards to the application process, because every single application has to go before a board for consideration, we do guarantee that we will provide a response within a calendar month with regards to if you're successful with your bid for funding for a work placement opportunity. So we're sort of the middle of September now. Read the information, make an inquiry, or go ahead if you are happy to make an application, and within a month you will get a decision if you are successful, and then we will confirm further details with you with regards to starts from November.
Excellent. Well, Lesley, thank you so much for your time today. It's really appreciated, and yeah, we'll get this up on Facebook, up on YouTube, and hopefully then sort of individuals can sort of pick this up and sort of understand what's involved with the Kickstart scheme. Thanks to everyone who's been watching this program online. Just to say, this is the second in our Kingswood Jobs Cast. Next week we'll be focusing on the care sector. Now, there's a number of care organisations locally who are looking to recruit, and I'll be talking to them about opportunities for those who may be thinking about a change of career, maybe passionate about caring for people, and want to look at understanding how to get into jobs in the care sector. So that's coming up. But once again, Lesley, thank you so much for your time today. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.